I got a call randomly from a girl who wanted to confirm that my name was Drew, and I said yes. And then she told me, like, I knew it, dude. Like, that was the first thing she says to me. She starts sobbing. Turns out he's
What?
Monet Talks. Everybody come sit down, let's have a chat. Monet Talks. Living life gossip, chop it up, this or that. Monet Talks. Get comfortable, cause you on the show. Monet Talks. We just wanna know where you been, who you been with. Monet Talks.
All right, Monet Talks listeners and viewers, whatever you do with the show, today, again, is a dope-ass day because we are joined in studio by, honestly, an icon. You are absolutely icon status. Mother Tuckin' Drew Afualo is here in the house. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling better now.
You look so good.
Thank you.
You walked in the outfit is sick.
I said, I just woke up like this. I said, oh.
No, you look great. You
Thank
look great.
you.
came in so much energy. And your mom and your sister's here. I was just talking about your mom. Your mom is, I'm obsessed with your mom.
She's everyone's favorite. Yeah.
Like,
They
gorge.
trade me out real quick.
Gorge. The hair is gorge. The vibes are always right.
Right.
I love it. You're like, you just have a dope family.
Thank you.
But was your family dope from the beginning? Like, my family became dope later on in life. As a kid, I hated my family. Oh, I hated everyone. I just was annoyed by everyone all the time.
Yeah. Well, imagine I go, yeah, I fucking hated them. They're sitting right here. No, I'm sorry. I should have asked if we can cuss.
Yes.
Okay,
you
cool.
absolutely
Perf.
can. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've always been extremely close. Like my mom raised us that way. And like, obviously you're family, so you have fights and you have problems. But like, we've always been very, very close and like a very like family centered kind of like tribe. So yeah, I got really lucky, I think.
Did you and your sister grow up fighting? Because me and my brother, like pretty bad. Like headlocks, all the things.
We definitely fought, yeah. Like we definitely fought. We went through our phases, I think, where we were like more enemies than lovers. Like I think the first one was when I was in 6th grade and then she was in 7th. And that was my copycat phase. So I just like everything she did, I had to do too, which is a compliment coming from me, I'd say. But one thing my sister hates, like truly older sibling shit with her is like being copied, like drives her fucking nuts still to this day. And she's in her 30s now. So that's important to note. It was like any sort of conflict we ever had, it was real sibling shit. It was like, that's my shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's shit like that. And I think when we got in high school, when she was about to graduate, we started kind of beefing a lot. But that was just because we were spending too much time together.
All the time together.
It's because she learned to drive and I was a passenger princess. And then we just beefed all the time about everything. And that was just because we were spending a lot of time.
Yeah, remember they were 6 years apart. So we never went to school at the same time. Or we never had...
My fiance and his brother are 6 years apart, too.
Yeah, so we never had time to like do like the truth. Like, couldn't really fit any of his clothes. And like, my brother's the type like... always would like have like a new pair of Jordans, all that stuff. I like that stuff. He was like, I couldn't even look at his shoes, or he would fuck me up. It was so I never got to share any of his cool shit. I never got any of the cool shit of having an older brother.
But then you guys got cool later.
Later on,
That's good.
Yeah. But he's like super suburban. He has like 4 kids. He lives like in the woods with his wife. Like. Yeah, my brother, we're living.
That's not my journey.
Yeah, completely different lives.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good though.
I wish we were closer. Though. I wish we. Yeah. They also live on the East Coast, and I'm over here in LA.
Yeah, the distance doesn't help, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I also feel the California vibes from you. You're such a Californian.
I think so too.
100%.
I think when people meet me, and you know what's funny is like online, I think because I'm so fucking mean, they just automatically thought I was an East Coast girl.
East Coast girl.
Like they immediately thought that, and I was like, I think that's just me being an asshole. But like my tone and like the way I talk, like my like I guess accent, I don't have an accent, is so West Coast, I think. You can hear it when I talk. But I was like, I feel like y'all would have known if I was from New York or something. You would have heard it in me. But it's just me being mean. So.
Could you live in New York? Could you be an East Coast girl?
No, I don't think so.
You had the vibe for it though. I feel like you could if you wanted to.
I think I would do well. I just don't think I would love, and that's purely because I think the indigenous in me, like, I need to be near the ocean. Like, I need to see the sun. I don't care that there's no seasons. I don't give a fuck. The only season my favorite season is summer. I know.
Same.
And that's controversial as a sweaty girl.
Oh my God, I'm a sweaty girl too.
I'm the sweatiest bitch alive.
Torrential
it's
downpour
horrible.
girl.
And that's honestly, I think, why a lot of drag queens love me too. They're like representation when they see me being sweaty as fuck in a full beat. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody gets it. Nobody understands.
They don't get it.
I said, they're like, oh, turn the heat on at every day of the year. It's infuriating. When I recently, this is so funny. I recently did Forbes 30 under 30.
Which, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. And I did like an interview, and I was in like a blue, like, it was like a silk 2-piece. It was gorgeous. My stylist is amazing. I love her. But they're like, oh, turn the air off. It's too loud. All of these huge lights. Girl, when I tell you sweat down my back, like I was soaking through the back of my shirt. And they had to keep pausing to like touch me up because I'm literally dripping sweat. And they're like, it's distracting. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do about that?
Put the fucking air off.
So I'm like, okay. And then after we finished, I was like, oh, thank you guys so much. I was like getting up from the stool, and this guy comes up. He's like, oh, can I take your mic? I was like, oh, I can take it off. He goes, no, it's fine. I'm already here. And then I was like literally telling my sister, I was like, whatever my back looks like, it's in God's hands now.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm gonna let him handle it.
When you do press and you do all these things, I'm like, we have not figured out the motherfucking technology so that this thing can pick up like I mean, come on.
That's why, honestly, I had a huge beef with France and London. Throw them in there and
oh my God, they don't believe in AC over there.
Girl, or elevators. Fuck them.
Yeah. And doors on doors. There are doors everywhere.
And like, fuck this country. But every time I'm over there, I'm like, America, rah! Every time there's no air, I'm like, girl, man, fuck this country. There's racism and no air. I'm out of here.
What the fuck? Yeah, I agree. Like the UK, I did a gig in the UK when they had their crazy heat wave, which the heat wave there was, I mean, like 80 degrees. And I want to tell you, everywhere was boiling hot. I was like, how are people living in this place?
I have no clue.
AC?
And no fucking elevators.
No elevators.
It was the AC's crazy. And I went to France last year for Paris Fashion Week. So it's like, it's fucking hot.
Yeah.
It's so hot. And the elevator, because we got like a Airbnb for like my whole party that was with me. And the elevator was 2,000 years old. And they had a big sign on the outside that said, which we did not see until after we used it a few times. But it was funny because we were going down, me, my sister, and my man are in the elevator. And we see it says no heavier than 200 pounds. Well, we did the math and we were both like, girl, we're way heavier than that. Well, Jesus, I'm praying for us as we go down. Shit. But that's how every elevator was there. And no air conditioning. It's infuriating.
How was Fashion Week? I did New York Fashion Week 2 years ago, and I have to say, like, Fashion Week is so interesting because I always wanted to do it because I see all the things. I'm like, oh, like doing Fashion Week would be dope. But it is such a clusterfuck. It's crazy. People are pulling. It's crazy.
It's not nearly as fun as it sounds.
It's not. It's not glamorous at all.
Not at all.
Like,
it's horrible.
And
honestly.
I knew it wasn't just me when I saw Beyonce was at Fashion Week and people were pushing her. And like Beyonce and her mom is sitting on the thing and they're getting pushed. I'm like, if Beyonce has no fucking like.
No, for real. And who am I?
Who am I?
Like to Beyonce.
It was
for real.
miserable for me.
No, it's bad. It's truly like no sleeping, no eating. Everybody's awful, and then you sit in glam for hours, and then you get one, and then they don't post it,
and they don't post it. Girl,
love that.
Girl, and I didn't know people are like, oh my God, you sound so, but girl, I'm telling you, y'all,
it's not that fun.
It's not that fun. I
promise it's not
glamorous.
I did Fashion Week in New York this year, and the way I did it this year, I was like, oh, I'm into that.
Okay.
Like, and it's because I spaced it out way better, and I made sure to only go to shows that I felt like were like good shows to go to, would be worth getting pushed around and treated like the scum of the earth. That would be worth it.
Yeah.
But I did Siriano's show this year, and it was
cute.
So fantastic.
Cute,
it was
cute.
fucking amazing. I had so much fun this year. But the other years I've done it, it sucks. It's awful. And then you're meeting some of the worst people you've ever met in your life. Like, And they're like people you've never seen before, and they're so rude, and they're
100%.
and it's also very like they'll talk to you, but they're like looking for photographers while they're talking to you.
So it feels like they're talking through you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're doing this conversation just because as soon as the photographer comes and takes a picture, you moved on. And you're not really
and they're literally going, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
And then they go and you never see them again.
Yeah, it's so vapid.
It's so funny. When I went to a show this year, I was like, they came up and they're like, oh, we want to take pictures of you because they had this like big, huge, beautiful tree. And I was like, oh, it's so gorgeous. And they were like, oh, we want to take pictures of you in front of it. And they had like a little station set and they were putting people there they wanted photographed. And they were like, okay, your turn. Okay, your turn. It was just like a little line. And I was like, okay, so I'm standing there waiting. And I get cut twice because I think these people think that I'm nobody, which is, okay, that's fine. I'm just a dickhead online. That's fine. And I didn't recognize those two people, but they go and they cut me. And then one of them, I'm like about to go. And this girl comes out and she starts doing like ballerina moves. Like, and she's going nuts. Like she's going crazy. And she looks great. I mean, I don't know anything about ballerinas, but like she looks like she has the form down to my ignorant knowledge, right?
Her pliés eating.
Yeah, and none of the guys are taking pictures because they don't know who she is. Neither do I. And then there's just one person recording her with a phone, and she's dancing in front of me, and her hands going like this, like she almost hits me like 3 times. And I'm like, all right, girl. okay, queen.
Slow down.
And then finally, one of the photographers goes, go do that on the other side. Go to the other side of the tree.
Damn.
And then she goes, oh, and she just walks away. I think she was trying to take her moment, you know?
Yeah.
But that was so not worth it to me. I get it. Trust me, I get it. You want to grab a moment? I get it.
Yeah.
That was so humiliating just watching it. I can't imagine.
It happen.
And photographers are mean as fuck sometimes.
A photographer will humble the fuck out of you sometimes, girl.
And I've experienced it.
Same. I have.
When they couldn't care if you drop dead in front of them.
100%.
Oh yeah, they're like, one. That's it. And then I'm like, thank you.
And then the next person after you like, you did like one. They're like, anyway.
I always joke my first carpet I ever walked
was what?
It was for the movie Ambulance. Don't know if anyone's familiar. Anyone
no,
big Michael
is that
Bay
the
fan?
one where they like run away with the ambulance because they robbed something or something like that? Okay, yeah.
Yes, you're right. And I went to that premiere, walked that carpet by myself, and the girl who walked me had like the tiniest piece of paper, and I was hearing her go, no? Okay. No? Okay. And I was like, hey girl, I don't need to hear that. And she didn't work for me. She was just like someone there.
Yeah.
But it was terrible because then when people started actually taking pictures, I was like, okay, period. After I'd been denied a million times.
Yeah.
And it was because Jason Momoa was walking behind me.
Gag.
So they were like, okay. They were like, what's your name again? Can you move, please? Thank you. So I was like, so me and Jason Momoa have beef. Invisible beef.
So Drew, you get thrust into this because you blow up. So I remember when I first fell in love with you was in I just moved to LA. It was March 21, and you had come into my For You page, and I was like, who is this girl? She's hilarious. She's gathering these straight dudes up. She's not giving a fuck. And then obviously you blow up, and like now you're this huge sensation. Like how did you manage like what you're talking about now, right? Doing carpet and stuff like that. Like, was it like a culture shock? Like, did you get media training? Like, how did you thread the needle for all of those?
Oh
things?
yeah, honestly, it was a huge culture shock because I always describe myself as like aggressively normal before this happened to me because I feel like a lot of times too with influencers, like a lot of times traditionally they blow up when they're young, like in their early teens, mid-teens, or like formative years. I was a full fucking adult when this happened to me. I had a job, like, well, I mean, at the time I didn't, but I had worked many normal jobs. I went to college, like I went to public school, like all of those things. So it was kind of a culture shock in that sense because I just had never thought anything like that would ever happen to me that way. So we kind of navigated it just as like a normal family in the beginning. I think once I started building my team, I stared realizing the different levels to it and like how much help you really do need if you're going to do this for real. And I think I'm very proud to say this. I've never had media training ever. But I was a journalist for a long time, so I know that. And then when I graduated from college, I was in PR for a very long time.
Okay.
So I feel like I've seen both sides. So I have a pretty good perspective or a POV on fame, on celebrity. And like when I worked in journalism, I worked in sports. So I worked with athletes a lot, like famous athletes. So like my understanding of like interviews and PR and like people's answers to things, like I feel like I've heard a lot of them, and that's what's helped formulate my ability to navigate that side of the industry.
Yeah.
Which they don't prepare you for.
Girl,
like,
at all.
Like you really just have to figure it out as you go, which is kind of horrifying. But thankfully I have a really good family, and then my team is fantastic, and I've been able to build a strong one.
And to assemble your team, was this like, again, like you said, you kind of piece it together as you need it. You do more carpets. Oh, I'm going to get a stylist.
Exactly. Okay. Totally.
Got it.
It was slow. Yeah, it was a slow build.
Yeah. And your family is involved in a lot of your world as well.
Yes. Yeah. My mom's one of my managers.
Work.
My sister, I guess, is like a colleague, but we work together. We're business partners. We have a podcast together and a business together. And then my fiance, like he obviously comes with me everywhere, but he also works too in the industry, and he and I are planning on starting businesses together too.
Work.
So it's like I'm a very family oriented, like I know a guy kind of person. And if I don't know a guy, I know my mom does. So anytime if I can source in-house, I will.
100%.
So like if someone in-house has a skill that would be really helpful to my team and I'm able to add them to my team, I will.
Yeah.
So like my uncle, for example, like I retired him a couple years ago, but he's now our full-time editor, and for our podcast. So it's like, if I can bring someone in that I trust, that I know can do it, like, then I'd rather pay you. I'd rather give you the money.
100%. Yeah. Because also in a lot of these people out there are vultures. They're shady, and people will take advantage of you.
Exactly.
So you have a built-in network of trust within family and family friends. 100%.
Totally. That's why I feel the same way. And that's why it was a little nerve-wracking when I was doing like an agent, a manager, like that kind of stuff. But thankfully we struck gold with my team now. So we're like, we're chilling currently.
So you work in sports because your family, you have a lot of ballers in your family.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to do sports?
Like play? Yeah.
Play.
I mean, I don't know if I wanted to ever play professionally, and this is me not gassing myself. I could have. If I wanted to, I could have, and that I was just that good, and that's me being honest. That's not a brag. A lot of people can be really good athletes. It's like that. It was just like in my bloodline, I feel like, to be good at sports. Like a lot of when people are very athletic, that's just a fact. So like when I was playing sports, I enjoyed it, but in therapy and looking back, I didn't enjoy it because I love the sport. I enjoyed being good at something.
Got it.
And being more specifically being the best. So like that's what I enjoyed. That gives me confidence. It's being better than other people at a skill that is so stupid and meaningless. Yeah. That's where I was drawing all of my validation from, was just being the best, whether it was like at school, in sports, whatever. So I did at one point think like, damn, I'm going to have to do this forever. And I would literally think about it. And this is me at like 14. I'd be like, I'm going to play forever. And then I'm going to go to the Olympics. And then I'm just going to be doing this forever. And I wasn't thinking about it in like I can't wait. I was thinking about it in like damn. Like it's written in the stars for me already. Fuck.
Yeah.
So then my freshman year of high school, I tore my ACL.
Oh, and wait, what's your ACL?
There are three main ligaments in your knee that keep your knee hinging like that.
Got it.
And like why you can walk. And it's like your meniscus is something that keeps the bones from rubbing together like that. So basically, while playing, I tore every ligament in my knee, including my meniscus. So it's ACL, MCL, PCL, and your meniscus tore all
with the LMNOP and the QRSUV. Yeah.
I tore all four of those things, like clean rip across. And so then I had to have a surgery, which, by the way, my ACL scar surgery looks like a penis. It's in the shape of a penis, and it's the texture of a penis. Can you believe that shit? And it's on my knee. God has a sense of humor. That's a fun fact about me.
I have a hairless Sphinx cat.
Really?
And she feels like a penis.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they look
like penises.
Yeah, they look like penises, and they're like that soft, like they feel like ball skin. Like very soft.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I think they're real cute though.
They're very cute. She is a little exception. I got her. Well, no, she is very cute.
Yeah.
But I got her, and like because I'm allergic to cats and dogs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they need to be hypoallergenic. Yeah.
But apparently, no cat is really hypoallergenic because with them, what makes them hypoallergenic? Because the enzyme is in their saliva, and they're less allergenic because they don't have fur, so they don't lick themselves as much.
Gotcha.
So I have her, and at like 8 months, she starts growing hair.
What?
Yes. So she has like a very thin layer of hair around her.
A sense of humor.
Girl, you know what I mean? God
I'm
is
allergic
shady.
to the hair and the saliva in the hair.
Yeah. So I take her to the vet, everything. And I also found out she has like a small heart murmur. So the vet is like, hey, she has a little heart murmur. We have to monitor it. But you need to let where you got the breed you got her know from, that you got her from, that she has this in her. So to check the other animals.
Yeah.
So I call the vet. I'm like, hey, I call the breeder. I'm like, hey, just so you know, Colleen, she has a heart murmur.
Her name's Colleen.
I
love that.
I love animals with human names. It's so
Me
stupid.
too. I love that. That's so cute. Sorry, go ahead.
and the breeder, he's like, oh, well, you have 4 more months. Do you want to get a new one? And I was like, what?
That's so mean.
And he's like, yeah, you have 4 months before, and we can swap it out. I'm like, it's not a sweater, girl. Like
I've already bonded to Colleen.
Like I bought it. I know I don't want a new one. I'm letting you know.
Her.
I named her. And it was so fucked out that he would just let me swap her out for a new one.
He's like, throw it in the trash and I'll give you a new one.
Literally. And I was like, that's insane. But anyway.
That is insane.
It's like a stupid everything. You don't have any cats, only dogs.
Yeah, I have 2 Frenchies. So
would you get a cat?
Yeah, I do love cats.
Okay.
I do love them. I just don't think I know my dogs would never harm another animal, dog or cat.
Mm-hmm.
They're really high maintenance, the 2 of them, just like as a package. So like we're good. But if I ever do get a cat, I would love a Maine Coon. I love Maine Coons.
Look they're so majestic.
They're just enormous, but I just think they're so beautiful. I love cats though. I love both. I love animals in general. I'm not very well, it depends. I hate fish and I hate reptiles, but other than that, and I hate birds. Other than that though,
yeah, I couldn't do a reptile. Reptile is a lot. Although
I'm scared.
A tarantula sounds cool.
In theory, sure.
I know.
I love it in theory. I just like, and that's the thing is like, tarantulas, do they give me the heebie-jeebies? Sure, but like I'm more afraid of like a lizard, to be quite honest.
I would agree with that.
A lizard scares me more. A frog? Ooh.
Oh, no, not a frog. Ooh. Although they have those like really cool, crazy colored ones.
Peace and love from afar. Peace and love from afar. I love it. And like my first Frenchie, his name is Squid. And then my second Frenchie, we adopted and we fostered and then adopted, and his name is Tuna. And Tuna is completely deaf. Like he's 100% deaf, which is funny because when I was fostering him, like, first of all, you should say that. Like,
yeah, 100%.
That should be in his profile. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And then when I met him, he goes, yeah, he tells me his whole history. I'm like, okay, before we take him for like a week. And then I was like, like when I was taking him, and I only say a week because I knew once I saw him, I was like, I'm gonna adopt that dog.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'll do the song and dance of like, sure, we'll see, but I'm for sure gonna take that one. Because he was so cute and such a sweet temperament.
Yeah.
But like after he tells me his whole history at the end, he goes, and also I think he might be deaf. I go, you think?
You think,
and then
girl?
he goes, well, I haven't like gotten it officially checked.
Yeah.
And I go, why? He goes, well, they said they were gonna charge me like $400 just to do a hearing test. And like the answer is yes or no. There's no like cure.
Yeah.
You know, so and I was like, oh, that makes sense. And he goes, but yeah, like on 4th of July, I live right on a street where they blow up fireworks like crazy.
He was just like,
he said he was facing the other way the entire, like not one. And so I was like, oh, okay. And when I take him, it wasn't very obvious, like, because sometimes he would react when we would say things, so I wasn't sure if maybe he was partially deaf. It is common for Frenchies to be deaf though.
Okay.
Like sometimes I know those big ass ears, they're fucking useless. And so like and then when I found out for sure was when he was sleeping and like someone rang the doorbell and we came in, and like my other dog always comes to the door. But he came alone, and I was like, oh, where's Tuna? And he went back and he like licked his head to wake him up, and then he came. Aww. So if his back's to me, he can't hear shit.
He can't hear anything.
Nothing. It's confirmed now he's 100% deaf. But it actually worked out great because him and my other dog,
bonded,
twin, they love each other. My other dog can be really annoying, so I think it's worked out. That he can't hear him.
I could do like I in my mind I want to have a snake, but I think snakes are evil. But I don't know that's because of how the world has made me think about snakes being evil.
Prejudice against snakes,
of religion and bullshit.
Right.
But like, so I feel there's a lot of snake prejudice out there because we just think they're
cool. Snakes are cool. I just like get it away from me.
Afar.
Yeah, from afar. I'm cool from afar. That's how I feel about fish too. Like I hate fish, but birds, I fucking hate birds.
What?
I hate them. I don't know. Me and birds are not cool.
I do think they're the closest things we have to dinosaurs on the planet.
Exactly. When I say hey, I mean it's bred in fear. I have nothing but fear and admiration from afar. That's why I said like I don't want any problems. Don't get mad at me, birds.
Yeah.
But we're not. You know.
Yeah.
we're not very alike in that sense.
I feel that. You're a girl. You're not burlike at all. You are a fucking...
I'm a dog girl.
Yeah,
I'm a dog and cat girl, you know?
Yes. So we have to talk about Loud. Now, Drew, you write this fucking book. Tell me why you wanted to write this book that is a New York Times bestseller. I see it all the time on my For You page. People like, have you seen this? People like read passages from your book?
Yeah.
On TikTok and Reels?
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, why Loud?
So the concept of a book was brought to me by my manager and my mom too. My mom's also one of my managers, but like initially when they brought it to me, they were just kind of like, hey, I see this for you. I think it would be really impactful. And at first I was kind of resistant to writing a book only because I figured, well, I was like, at the time I was 27. So I was like, I just feel like I haven't lived a life long enough to warrant a book. And because in my head it was memoir, because I just thought like, my life's not long enough yet to warrant a memoir. And so I was kind of resistant. And I also didn't want it to be like an influencer book. I know, like, it's one of those things where you pivot to another category and it's great, but then also like it can look like a cash grab, and that's not what I wanted either. Yeah. So
one thing throughout your you always do stuff with so much intention, which I love. There's a lot of intentionality behind the things you do, and I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to be. And like when I had brought that up to him, he was like, "Well, let me just set up some meetings and like maybe we can kind of talk through what it would look like." So when I had the initial meeting, I met with like my now literary agents, and they were, you know, like kind of, they just wanted to know a little bit more about me, and then kind of like asked me what I would see for myself if I were to write a book. And so about me or my life or whatever. And I told them, honestly, I think I would lean more towards self-help because I feel like that's kind of what I do already, and I could just expand more. And the goal for my book, other than for people to just like take something from it, I really wanted to be seen in a different light. Like I know I'm funny. Obviously I can make fun of a man till the cows come home, bitch. I could do that in my sleep with my eyes closed, both hands tied behind my back. Yeah. But I really wanted people to understand like why I believe the things I do and why I've like walked in it so convicted for so long, because I want them to have that too. Like I want them to also have that feeling about themselves, about their lives. And so I think that's kind of like how it was like the perfect storm of just like finding the right like lane for me to go in, and then kind of just going from there. But I was like, once we really talked it through, I was like excited to do it, because I was like, okay, well now that I have a clear sense of direction and purpose for the book, I feel better about doing it. So I was very proud of myself.
Were you called Loud growing up?
Yes, all the time. Yeah, and I'm very proud of the title and the subtitle because I came up with those on my own. And the title was actually the hardest part, which is a good problem to have, like, because, you know, writing a book is a huge undertaking.
100%.
But I remember initially what I wanted the book to be titled is actually now a chapter title, which is initially I wanted it to be I'd Rather Die Alone. Oh. And I had like very specific vision for the cover and everything. And they were like, well, that's a little negative. Maybe we can. And I go, yeah, but. And so I was really married to that title for a minute. But then I was glad we got to make it a chapter title. And one of my publishers brought up to me about that title, because I was holding on to that title to the very last second.
You're like, I'm going to do this book. It's going to be called this. And they're like,
exactly.
Girl, no. They're like, no.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was my book.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like, we were going back and forth about a title. And so my publisher said something that kind of changed my perspective on it, because he said, I think that title makes sense after you read the book, but I think it's not as indicative of what it's about initially. It's like, it's almost misleading when you read that title and then read the book. And when he said that, I was like, damn. That's a good point.
Girl, when you're like in the trenches and like you like, my idea is the best one, and someone gives you something, you're like,
right. I'm dying on that hill.
I'm like, I guess I do agree.
I was like, okay, I guess you're a publisher and I'm not, whatever. That made a lot of sense to me. And I was like, no, actually that's tea. Okay, let me get back in the think tank then. Then I could stop digging my heels in about that title. Yeah. And then I remember at the time when I finished my manuscript, I finished the title, all that stuff, I had just moved too. Oh, shit. So I was like writing at the same time I was working and doing this. And I remember I sent an email at like 2 a.m. and I wrote down like 15 titles. I was like, these are all things I was thinking. And they were all like words or phrases that I felt were monikers of me for a long time. So I just wrote like 15 in a row and then sent them to my team and everybody. And then the publisher were like, all of them were kind of commiserating on it. They were like, okay, this is a good list. And then we all kind of gravitated towards Loud. Like Loud was like the one.
Word.
And that was like my second or third one on there. And
Word.
so I have been called Loud my entire life. So, and you're right, whatever.
And you know, it's doing pretty well for you.
Amen.
In the book, your mom talks about how like she wanted to name you Drew.
Yeah.
So you could fare better, and you also talk about in the book how your dad like picked up like housework around the house. Like femininity clearly is something. Feminism was something that was put into you from a very young age.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you grateful for that? Do you wish it was different?
No, not at all. I am very grateful for it. I think it's like that kind of independence and autonomy was instilled in us from a very young age. And I think just as we've gotten older, it's just expanded. You know what I mean? It's just become more inclusive and more educated and even more all-encompassing. But yeah, I think it's also too, I've said before how like Samoan culture at its very genesis prior to being colonized is very matriarchal. It's like we hold women in very high regard and we put them in positions of power traditionally and culturally speaking. And obviously colonization has changed a lot of that
100%.
Just because it's introduced us to systems like misogyny and homophobia and transphobia and all of that. So, and that also ties into colonization and religion and all of that. But before all of that, like that is how we operated. And I feel like even now, even with the after effects of like colonization and colonialism as a whole, they still run that way. Samoan families are very matriarchal still, like even now, even with all of those things working against us. So I feel like that just underlying thread has been in my family for a very long time. And I'm, you've met me. I'm a very confident bitch. You put those two things together, girl, off to the races, Like it's no wonder I started doing this.
Yeah, I come from a very matriarchal family also. Like my grandmother, my aunts, my mom, everyone is like, these are the leaders of my family.
Right.
Like they're the ones
decision makers.
The decision makers steering the ship. And I love it.
Yeah, me too.
So maybe kind of why I love drag so much too, because it's like, I'm bringing out the woman in me and I'm fucking steering the ship. Love, 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 love. I want to also know more about this goddamn potato crab salad.
Oh yeah, girl.
Okay.
That's so funny. That's
because when I was reading, I was like, wait, I thought it was such an interesting.
That's my mom. That's my mom's signature dish.
Potato crab salad. Okay, so when we do the game night,
yes,
you got to bring the potato crab salad.
Yes.
I want to taste the potato crab salad.
Oh, girl,
for over
it's good.
200 people 6 times a week.
Yeah, girl. Well, for that one specific instance in my book, yeah, because it was for a funeral. So Samoan funerals, depending on their level in the family, can take like 2 weeks. Like they could take a long time. So there's lots of family events, lots of matching outfits, and lots of food. So, and like Samoan culture, I feel like too, is a culture rooted in service. So it's like service to the Lord, service to your family. It's always giving with no expectation of anything in return. And so when it comes to family events like funerals and stuff like that, like everybody gives. So everybody gives money, everybody gives time, everybody gives food, everybody gives service. So when you go, like you serve and you like just basically serve with no expectation of getting anything back. And so that's why like my mom had to make that salad. Well, then she taught us how to make it and we had to make it 50 billion fucking times. And it takes forever. It takes so long to make that much. Well, to make that much for that many people.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yes,
because there's like 200 to 400 people at every single event. So it's like over and over and over again. But yeah, it's really yummy. It's delicious.
Okay.
And you're going to love it too, I think.
I can't wait, Mom. You also really quick, a moment that I, as a Drew Afualo fan, was so hyped for you was when you met The Rock at the Black Adam.
Oh
premiere.
yeah.
I remember seeing that video and just that, and also when you did the Oscars as well.
Oh yeah.
Girl, I've been a big fan of yours for a very long time. And like seeing those things having your career, I was like, this bitch is out here like turning the party, just like really like
I'm trying
being that girl.
Let me in.
Yeah.
I'm a good time.
Yeah, you are. I want to talk about this also, the myth of patriarchy that you're talking about, which I think is really, really profound. You talk about the leftover women, leftover women, domestic labor is women's work, girls are drama, and you can fix them. Like, were these behaviors or truths you found yourself ever participating in, or like you never dabbled in that shit ever?
I didn't dabble in some of it, but I did dabble in a lot of it too. It's like certain things missed me, but other things didn't. And that's just because I'm a woman dating. I identify as a woman and I date men. So it's like, it's a rite of passage to be treated like shit. Because
straight men are fucking horrible.
Girl, don't I fucking know it. And you know what's funny is recently I was just telling one of my friends about this story. Like, I always say that there's always like a one really good one, like one that is so bad and so flagrant that you're like, well, I guess my fucking eyes were closed. Like, I don't know if I became stupid for however long that was.
Yeah.
But everybody has one. I have one too. That's why I've always said, like, I am no exception to this kind of like oppression or like kind of life experience. Like, I know because I've been through it in a lot of ways. And so one though, and this man was actually someone I dated in college. It was like towards the end of my college career. And I met him randomly, whatever. We started vibing, whatever. All of that happens. Like, while I'm dating him, it's becoming very clear. And I write about it in the book too, that it's like something's off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something's off. And it's like, it got so bad to the point where my friends are like, hey, queen, he sucks. Like, and I'm normally that bitch. So like the fact that I was getting like, put under the spell was shocking to my friends at the time. And my friends, and they're still my friends to this day. We still laugh about it now. But with him, like, it came to a point in the book, I read about it too, that like he never wanted to see me in the daytime. Bad sign. Never wanted to be in public with me. Only ever wanted to come to my house. And then also would lie about the most random things, like things that there's no sense in lying about it. And I still remember the very first lie he ever said to me. I still remember it to this day because I remember thinking I should have right fucking there. I should have been known. Like, you're psycho, get out of my face, right?
What?
It was so stupid. It was literally because the day we met randomly and then we drank and we hung out and whatever. The next day he came over again and we're talking. And then he tells me when he graduated high school. And I go, wait, what year did you graduate high school? He tells me, I don't even remember. But then I go, so that would make you 30? Like, he's like 30 at that time. And he goes, oh, yeah. And I go, yesterday you told me you were 24, which is true because I'm 21 at the time.
At the time.
And in my head, you're 100 when I'm 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're 21, you're like, anyone over 21 is 1,000 years old. Yeah,
100%.
And I go, you're 30 right now? And he goes, yeah. I go, why did you tell me you were 24? And he goes, I never said that.
Like, who are you talking to?
And then I literally go, yeah, yes, you did. Like, he really was like telling me, no, I didn't. And then he goes, well, you were drunk. You probably don't remember. Oh. And I go, no. I would remember if I was dating a senior citizen. I would remember that. The fuck? And then I was like, and I remember thinking about it later and I was like, what a strange thing to lie about.
So strange.
Because he didn't convince me at all that he didn't tell me that because I know, because I'm a Virgo, I'm never wrong. Yeah. So I was like, I know for a fact you told me that shit. I know for a fact you told me that shit. But I remember thinking, that's weird. That's a weird thing to lie about.
Yeah, to lie about.
Yeah.
A red flag, 100%.
Right. Out the gate. And I remember the lie so clearly because I was like, in my head. And that was probably me waking up for a second and then I went back to sleep. Right. And so anyways, all this shit happens. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, I had started pulling out the garage. Like I was like, I can't do this anymore. This shit is weird. It's secretive. It feels off. Yeah. And I don't feel good. Like every time I leave, you leave me or I stop talking to you or you don't talk to me, I feel awful about myself and I shouldn't. So I started pulling away. Like I was like, yeah, I'm over it. And then what pushed it over the edge is what I read about in the book, which is like, I got a call randomly from a girl who wanted to confirm that my name was Drew. And I said yes. And then she told me, like, I fucking knew it, dude. Like, that was the first thing she says to me. She starts sobbing. Turns out he's had the same girlfriend for well over a decade. Because, again, he's 100. And they're high school sweethearts. They lived together. And she's 8.5 months pregnant.
What?
All of which I did not know. And then
not a clue.
So the first thing I told her was, I had no idea. I need you to know that. Like, I haven't seen him in like a couple weeks. Yeah. But like, I swear to God, like I did not know that. I would never fucking do that. That is so awful, whatever. So her and I kind of key. And I literally like, I console her because she's like sobbing and I'm telling her, you deserve better. Like he doesn't deserve either of us. Like, I'm really gassing her up. I'm like, you should leave him. Fuck him. I hate him. Fuck him. Yeah. Like, and so I talked to her. I hope she's doing well. I don't know what ended up happening, but I let her on her way. I put her on the right path and I said, peace and blessings to you and your family. Yeah. The next day, a couple days later, I get a text from him. And he sends me a text that says, it's this long ass text going, thank you so much for what you said to her. You're so selfless. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't deserve someone like you. Like, you're too good for me. Like, this is what I mean. Like, blah, blah, blah. I said, And I read that shit and I got so angry. I had to like leave my phone at home and leave the house for a while.
Yeah.
Because I got pissed the fuck off. I go, what do you you're insane.
Yeah.
You're a psycho. Like to twist that in a way that makes, oh, see, like, look at my girls getting along.
Yeah.
You're insane.
Ew.
And so then I get so mad I ignore it. A couple days later pass, he texts me again, right? And then this time he sends me another text going, really, Drew? I thought we were closer than that. Like you're going to be immature and just not respond to me. You're just not going to respond. And when I got that message, I for real thought to nothing has sobered me quicker, because I thought I wasn't even mad. I was like so disappointed in myself, because then I started thinking, this dude has no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Because I have sacrificed so much of myself.
Yeah.
I'm not even being myself.
Yeah.
This guy has no idea who the fuck I really am, because you got me fucked up. Like, that's how I felt when I read it. And I was thinking, like, I have sacrificed so much of who I am as a person that this dude doesn't even fucking know me.
Yeah.
And then when I read that text, I thought, he has no respect for me.
Yeah.
And what's worse is he thinks I have none for myself. So I'm going to respond to this shit. And I felt like that meme when they're going like, "Dah," and they're like breaking off the chains. That's how I fucking felt. I was like, I've never gotten over someone faster. I was like, oh yeah, no, fuck this dude.
That,
like, fuck this bitch and fuck this shit. I remember thinking like, that was right. When I got that message, blocked immediately on literally everything. And that did not stop him from trying to reach out to me again. And through other people, he was insane. My point being, that was one of those moments where I really made peace with being alone. Like I was thinking to myself, I'm alone, but I am not lonely. I am surrounded by love. I have the best family. I have the best friends. I put myself in an awesome fucking position. I'm going to have an awesome life. I was like telling myself this, I'm going to have a fucking awesome life. And this bitch can suck my dick from the back, bitch. Fuck you. And I remember thinking like, I don't give a fuck. I'll never marry. I'll never have kids. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I want to be alone because I'm not doing this again. And I'm never in my life had I like sacrificed so much of myself for someone's love or attention or like to be picked. Like I was like, I wanted him to pick me so bad. I was willing to like take off pieces of myself so that I would be more appealing to him, which is not an experience that's exclusive to me. That's not exclusive to me at all.
Yeah.
And that's not even exclusive to my sexuality either. Like many people have done that in
100%.
different instances with partners they felt like could be the one or wanted them to be the one so badly. And so literally 3 or 4 months later, I started dating my now fiance. And does this look like I'm alone?
Oh, but that's also wait. So y'all went to high school together, but you weren't high school sweethearts.
No,
no.
We're real enemies to lovers trope.
Enemies to lovers. Okay, why enemies though?
I always say that, but it's just like I always joke about that. But we were cool. Like we were cool in high school. But he was very handsome. And
your
tall.
boyfriend is hot. I'm sorry, your fiance.
My fiance
is hot.
Yeah, he is. I
remember the first time I was on your page and he like came. I was like, oh, yeah.
Which is so real. And honestly, I say that so as objectively as I possibly can. I know he's a very good looking man.
100%.
And he's tall and he's in shape. Whatever. But he was like, I've said before on my show that he got tall in high school. So like he got tall and he was already handsome and he's smart and charming and funny and athletic. Gives a shit. But like I think when I was in high school I viscerally hated men, so like, and my sister was a lesbian, so I felt like we were the only two in the entire fucking school that weren't swayed by him at all. Like I saw him as a normal annoying bitch because that's who he is.
Got it.
And I love him to death, don't get me wrong. I would die for him for real, but he is annoying. And so that's why we're such a good pair. And I think that's what he liked about me. Like he dug that I was kind of like, whatever.
Well, he was feeling you and he asked you to go to prom and you said no.
I did, yeah. That's so funny. And that's true. That's true. I'm not making that up. That is absolutely 100%. What's funnier about that story is that he actually asked me through my sister. And he said like, hey, please don't tell Drew, but do you think she would say yes if I asked her to prom? Because I really want to take her. And then Dason read it and was like, oh, I have to tell you something. So she immediately told me because she's a narc.
That's a good sister.
Because she's a narc to her core.
Love that.
And she to the day she dies. And so she immediately told me, and then I told her no, and then she told him. She said no. That's all she wrote.
Word.
She said no.
Word.
And then he said, all right.
And then what made the turn? What made you be like, actually?
I think it was him hitting me up after I moved back home after school.
Got it.
And it was more so like when he hit me up, like, again, like I've said this too before, but like I was not talking to him because I got really pissed off at him about something I to this day cannot remember. So clearly it's not important. But I just remember like I was holding on to the vendetta.
Yeah.
So like I was like, whatever, fuck him. And he kept hitting me up like constantly. He was like, hey, like, what are you doing when you move home? Like, we should get lunch, like whatever. Because we would occasionally do that when I was in college. But I was pissed, so I wasn't responding. And then he kept texting me, hey, like, are you home yet? I'd love to go to lunch with you, whatever. No response. And then he kept doing that. And then the very last one he sent me before we actually hung out was, I know you're ignoring me and I know you're mad at me. Please let me make it up to you. And then he's like, and if you still don't want to be friends and you don't want me to, or you really just don't want me to, I won't bother you anymore. And something about that really like stuck with me. And I showed it to my mom and I was like, my mom goes, he sounds sorry. And I was like, fuck you. My mom was like, we'll just go to lunch. And then like, it's non-committal. Just go to lunch. And then if he sucks, then at least you got a free meal. And then I was like, that's why they pay you the big bucks, Mom. And so I went to lunch and then the fucking joke's on me. I fell in love. But I remember I've asked him to, because he was such a confident person at such a young age. And you know, like straight men who are handsome at a young age, deadly combo.
100%.
So they can go either way. They could be the worst person alive or they could be awesome. And so he's obviously awesome. But I remember I asked him, because he never does anything he doesn't want to do. And when you're younger and immature, obviously that's even more strong. Yeah. And I asked him, like, what made you keep texting me? Because he doesn't struggle to get attention from women. He could have easily dated anybody else. Yeah.
But girl, he imprinted on you like fucking Twilight, girl. Like, he was like, I asked him, I said, what made you want to keep hitting me up? Because I was blatantly ignoring him. He knew I was ignoring him because he still followed me on everything. And he would text me and I would be posting shit like I was clearly ignoring him. Yeah. And he told me, I honestly don't know. I've thought about that. And he goes, but what I thought about was something told me that I would regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't fix things with you. And I said, you goddamn right. I know that's fucking right. I know that's fucking right. That's my man. Yeah. But when do you think, I know you call yourself an influencer still, but I feel like you've transcended that title. Like,
thank you.
When do you think that switch happens? I mean, because like, I don't know. I just don't see you as an influencer. I see you as like a full-on, like, to me, you're just a celebrity person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know.
And also, does it matter to you? Do you like use it? Do you not care about it?
I'm not too. I never really concern myself with the title. I understand why people do though, and that's not because of the title. It's because of who else falls under that title. Like, there are a lot of terrible influencers in the world. There are a lot of 100%. Influencers that don't deserve platforms and still have them. But like, so I get the aversion to it. I don't mind it because it's true. Like, I am to an extent. And I feel like sometimes they can be interchangeable with celebrity because celebrities are extremely influential. Like,
this is true.
They influence things all the time. Obviously, that label is specifically for people who come up through the internet. Yeah. But I think why I don't care is because I'm grateful to the internet. Like, the internet gave me everything I have now. Like, I will never fully turn my back on the internet because I am so grateful because I talked about this in the Forbes thing too. Like, the internet has given people who look like me and look like many other people that never are celebrities the chance to be seen and like to be heard. And like, there are some people who don't fit into a cis heterosexual thin white body that are too talented to not get any sort of, recognition or acknowledgement. So I feel like that's why I don't really mind. Like, because some people call me content creators, some people call me influencers, some people call me an author, or some people just say that fucking bitch on the internet. I don't mind. Either way, I feel like, I think the transition or the jump to like celebrity would be like how Quinta went from being like a BuzzFeed girl. Now she's Quinta Brunson.
100%.
So I feel like that jump hopefully will come. But I will never sever my ties to the internet. I'm so grateful to the internet. And I think that's why I don't mind when influencers are in spaces where maybe traditional celebrities feel like they shouldn't be. Yeah. I think that's why I don't care, because you need the internet, unfortunately. The landscape has changed drastically in the last like 10 years. So I mean, I think the jump will come eventually. Maybe it'll come when I start doing like acting and stuff.
I was just gonna say, are you interested in being in these acting streets?
Oh my gosh, yes, girl.
Work.
I want to act so bad.
Work.
I feel like I want to act in movies and TV shows. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I've auditioned for quite a few things. Haven't gotten one.
Girl,
but that doesn't stop them from asking me.
Girl, yeah. Girl, let me say something. I've done countless, hundreds of sides. You just never know. Like sometimes it just, you know.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Tell me.
That you can, I'm sure you can relate to.
What?
Because I asked my friend Caleb about this after an audition I had done. And I was telling him, because I did like an audition, I got a call back, whatever, and it was great. I didn't get the part, but I did get the call back, which is cool. But I was kind of talking through it with him because I was thinking, I was like asking Caleb, because Caleb's gay, and I was asking him, do you ever have this like, this feeling or energy when you go into a callback and they're kind of like, can you do it again? Just a little more urban. Like that's how it felt for me.
Yes.
Like it felt like I want you to read it again, but maybe this time with a little more sass. And I'm like, you
1,000,000%.
I think like you want to call me a slur, but you can't.
100%. 100%. Like they were like, okay, that was a great read, but like this time pretend like he's from like the south side of Chicago.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I'm like,
that's why I'm like,
okay. So you want a neck crack and a finger wag, and that's what you want.
Yeah, I was like, girl, like, and that's why I feel like, and when I talked to him, he was like, oh yeah.
100%.
And he goes, that's very common. It happens all the time for anyone that's marginalized who wants to act like, especially if you're a personality too. Like they are gravitating towards your personality. Obviously, the influence is part of it.
Yeah.
And then when they bring you for a role, they're like, well, maybe she'll loosen up. Like maybe she'll be more herself, which is like a caricature of me. It's not. And that's why sometimes when people write lines for me, if I do like commercials or I do like daytime, sometimes I ask, can I edit these? And they're like, oh yeah. Because when they write me, it sometimes feels like an SNL impersonation of me. It doesn't feel like they'll add in shit that I have never said
always
or done.
Always.
And I'm like, where did you get that from?
Yeah.
Like I feel. And I told Bob that too when I had Bob on my show initially, because Bob told me, they're like, do you see any impersonations of you? And I go, yeah, but they're not. They are leaning on racist. And what's worse is it's not even the right race. Like whoever you're impersonating is not a Samoan person. So knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tag me in that shit. I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see
girl.
it. So I'm very like, but that's why I wanted to know if you've had the same. I'm 100%. Sure you've had the same experience.
Well, anytime like what commercial work or whatever, or reading lines, whatever thing, and like especially when they write it for you, and then you read it in the prompter, and you're like, actually whatever, or you get the script beforehand. Like, okay, we'll bring the writers to meet with you, and it's like 4 white dudes, and I'm like.
You're like, okay, well, that makes sense. Why
this makes sense. Yeah. And I'm like...
You're like, okay, that makes sense now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Nick, so on that second line, please change that. I would never say...
Where you wrote in tongue pop?
Literally.
Go ahead and erase
all that shit. Like, they try to get so gay and so black, and I'm like, this is just, no.
You're like, I'm going to sound like I'm doing a racist impersonation.
Exactly.
Like, that's what's crazy is you're putting me in an awful position.
And even for, like, big brands, I'm like, who like agreed? Who thought this was a good idea?
I think that too.
Like the people making all these millions and tens of thousands of dollars, and who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, I thought that too. I felt the same. And you know, here's another part of that that's kind of the same, but not really. I shot a commercial thing a couple years ago, and I remember they asked me, like they were styling me and everything, and then they brought up like shoes and heels or whatever, and I told them, well, here's the thing about heels. I go, because I was working alongside a man, and I said, I'm very tall. So whatever shoes you bring, like, unless you guys, if you guys care about that, I would keep that top of mind. I was like, because I am tall. And they were like, okay, no, yeah, for sure. They gave me these huge ass heels, and I wore them. When I go, mind you, I'm 6 feet. So when I wore them, I was like 6'4", 6'5". This dude's 5'7", and they immediately they're like, we need to change the shoes. Like immediately,
like, I told y'all
and
this.
when I saw them, they were like, oh, you meant tall. I go, girl, what the fuck you mean? I think 5'7"? I'm 6 feet tall, bitch. I literally was like, I'm really tall, like genuinely, I am. And they were like, okay, yeah, no, for sure. They
never get it.
They never understand. And you know what? I will say too, everyone in Hollywood is this big,
girl.
Like height wise,
girl.
Drag queens though, all of you bitches are taller than me, and I love that shit. I love that shit. I was was like, all of you are taller than me. I love it. Thank God. I don't feel like Yao Ming, bitch. Please free me from this shit.
Yeah, queens or people. There's season 8 of Drag Race, the Bob season. People don't realize the entire cast was over 6 feet tall, except for Layla McQueen, who was like short.
And Trixie's tall as fuck
Trixie's
too.
Tall.
Even Katya's pretty tall too.
Yeah,
that's why I said you're tall too.
Yeah, I'm 6 feet.
Yeah, that's why I said. I love it. I feel at home. Representation is so important. I want to see a big-bodied woman. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you go on set and people don't realize, they're like, I'm tall. And I try to tell them, so when you read these things, they're like, okay, Monet's really tall. Do you mind taking the shoes off? I was like, I said I was going to put them on from the fucking beginning. But now,
me too. They
never listen.
That thing, I was standing in socks the whole time because I had to. And even then, they placed him kind of far away from me so that, like, movie magic, we look the same height. I'm way taller than him, but like, okay, that's fine. That's why I was like, everybody you see in Hollywood, this big,
tiny,
itty bitty.
Would you be interested in like a talk show? Like what do you envision as like the next phase of the Afualo dynasty?
Oh, I would love to do a talk show. I would love to do. I think the next phase, I'm going to do more acting and stuff. That's my plan for next year. I would love to do a talk show. I would love to do like late night. I think they need more women in late night. I want
to say they used to be Amber Ruffin. I don't think she's there anymore. Yeah. So I don't know. Who
Taylor
else?
Tomlinson has a late night show. She has one.
You should do After Midnight.
I did a segment on After Midnight. Okay. And that was fun. That was the key. It was really fun.
After Midnight was fun.
Yeah, and it was one of those where they were like, we could write for you if you need help. And I was like, are you guys cool with riffing? Because I'm cool with riffing. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, because they sent me some stuff ahead of time so I could look at it and prepare a joke if I need it. And I was like, oh no, I'm good. Like I if you guys are cool. They asked me 4 more times when I was there just to be sure. And that was them being good people. Like they were like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah. I said, yeah, I'm sure. And then after I finished my bit, the girl that came to ask me at the last time, she was like, oh girl, you didn't need me. You killed it. I was like, period, love that. Vote of confidence, love that.
100%.
I would love to do late night. I think late night would be great.
Yeah, there aren't obviously Chelsea Handler did it for a while, but she's not in the late night space anymore. So like there aren't any women in the late night space.
Especially women of color.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Lily Singh had a thing for a while, but she's not anymore. Like where there needs to be more women in late night.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think I would kill. I think I would murder.
You'd be great.
I love it.
Great.
I love being and I was like, if y'all can take a joke, I think we'll have a key. I think we'll have fun.
Before we leave, I want to play a little game.
Yes.
I know you love Disney.
I do love Disney.
Or do you go to Disneyland?
Yeah, I would say I don't go nearly as much as I used to, but that's just because it's like, it's not as enjoyable when I'm being looked at like I'm in a petting zoo.
And everyone's like, oh my God, can I have a picture?
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, the first time I was ever physically grabbed by a fan was at Disneyland. And she grabbed me hard as fuck. She grabbed me so hard, I was like, when she want to turn around, I said, you lucky you started talking, girl, I would have swung on you. Shit. Don't touch strangers. Love you.
Yeah, that chaperone shit, girl. Do not fucking pull me and prod me. Yeah.
For real.
So I'm gonna name some Disney princesses. I'm gonna say which one, right? So I'll say like, Ariel or Snow White.
Got you.
Here we go. Prince Eric, Prince Charming, Cinderella.
I'm gonna say Eric because Charming,
right?
Yeah. Like love bomber, falling in love right away. Love bomber.
Okay, Prince Eric or Hercules?
Hercules,
right?
Because he's built like my man,
and he will find his way. He can go the distance.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be like, don't become a human. Make us both gods.
I know. Who chooses to be a half god, girl? I want to be a full deity.
And I'm literally Meg. So like, and Hercules has the energy of my man. So
word. Yeah. Hercules or Aladdin?
I do fuck with Aladdin.
I've never seen Aladdin.
Really?
I know. I've only seen like the greatest hits, like the best songs from it.
Oh,
yeah. I've never seen it in the movie.
Watch it. It's so cute. I love that one. I'm gonna stick with Hercules.
Okay, Hercules or
the
Tarzan.
The build's more my type. You feel me?
Well, this one, Hercules or Tarzan.
Tarzan, yeah. Tarzan, yeah. I like a man with tits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, a good peck.
Yeah. Pectoral.
Oh, honey. Yeah. A good, so when the little side.
Yeah, girl, like when they jump, they bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's the type of shit I'm on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Show me them tits.
Tarzan or Kristoff from Frozen?
Tarzan, easily.
Tarzan or the Beast?
I'm gonna pick Tarzan. I'm gonna stay with Tarzan.
Yeah, Beast is I don't like a lot of hair.
No, and also Stockholm syndrome. You know, and then and also like her looking kind of disappointed when he turned into the human. She's like,
yeah.
Her kind of being like, oh, I'm not down anymore.
Yeah,
I was
Beast.
into it.
I like. My man has like a little chest hair. Recently, he started getting like back hair. I was like, okay, we need to take care of that. I don't like that. So I was in the shower, literally scraping him with all his hair.
I love hair on a man though.
I love. Yes, I love this,
hair. Yeah,
but I don't like all that.
I feel it. I get what you mean. But I think hair's nice. I think hair's nice on, like, just objectively, I think hair looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tarzan or John Smith from Pocahontas?
I'll kill John Smith with my bare hands.
Literally horrible.
I'm going to take that rifle and blow it up. I'm going to light that bitch up. Colonizer, fuck out of here. Yeah, I'm going to pick Tarzan, yeah.
Tarzan or Captain Li Shang, Mulan?
Ooh, I really like him, though. And he actually does kind of look like my man, low-key. Like, he has similar brow bone.
Yeah?
I'm gonna pick Li Shang.
Li Shang?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Li Shang. Yeah.
Okay. Li Shang or Flynn Rider, Rapunzel?
Oh, yeah, he's funny, but like, again, builds. I'm gonna pick Li Shang.
Li Shang.
Yeah.
Okay, work. Okay, who do you think is the least toxic of those dudes?
Least?
Tarzan.
I would say Tarzan.
He lived in the woods with nobody, girl. How can he be toxic?
Yeah, and he was like, if you think about it, he was like fighting off gentrification.
Yeah.
If you think about it, for his monkey family.
And he's comes from a matriarchal society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I don't think they were apes. I think they were bonobos. Because even though bonobos are different than they look like chimps, but bonobos are matriarchal monkey species.
Get into it.
To solve disagreements, they have sex with each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they say we didn't come from monkeys.
So
you know what's funny? You say that my sister loves monkeys and she knows a lot about them. That's just a random fact, but she knows a lot about them. Also, I feel like he was like, fuck white people. Like, even though he's a whitey, he couldn't tell. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I ride with my people.
100%.
Yeah. No, yeah. I would probably say Tarzan was the least toxic out of all of them because he was just, like you said, living in the fucking jungle. He was just fucking off in the jungle. He was
tainted by the world and their fucking bullshit.
Exactly. He was like, colonization, awful, hate that. Immediately off rip, he was like, bad, that's bad.
And the most, I think we know who it is, fucking John Smith.
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah, the most, easily. That's why I said, I'll kill him. I'll kill him with my bare hands.
Yeah.
I'll strangle him.
Rue, having you here was a dream. Thank you so much for swinging by.
Of course.
You're
Thank you for having me.
Such a light, such a ray. You are giving the internet what we need, and I'm just obsessed with you.
Thank you.
Game
I appreciate
night. Potato crab salad.
Game night. And again, this is the second show she said it on, so she can't take it back. That's twice.
Thank you so much, Diva. I love you.
You're amazing. I love you.
And thank you all for watching another episode of Monét Talks. We had the fabulous Drew Afualo here. Please go. You don't need me to tell you. You have seen her on your For You page, on your reels, on Twitter. She is everywhere.
Yeah.
In commercials with Kelly Rowland. Doing
queen.
the damn thing. 30 under 30, 50 most influential influencers ever. I fucking love you, girl.
Thank you. I love you.
And thank you all for watching.
Bye.
See you next time.